watched this long, continuous line of clouds really make its way from the west to the east all day, letting us know that the pressure gradient between that high pressure and that low pressure pretty strong. And then we saw those northerly winds really pick up. Good opportunity for a little bit of rain, but nothing too impactful. And then that kind of settled us down as we saw those strong northerly winds push in that cooler air. Now we're going to be dealing with what we could be dealing with fog-like conditions while we continue to see this cold air push in over some of this warm, moist air across the region. In fact, we went down from those 70s down to those 50s, back up into those 70s, and saw some patchy fog this morning. Very similar setup because things are about to be looking pretty perfect for at least this Thanksgiving travel, but very shortly after, at least this weekend, could be seeing more of that intense weather make its way in from the east, or at least from the west, excuse me. 68 here in San Angelo, everybody else joining us in a combination of those 70s and 60s, and we get a good idea of this unequal warming and cooling across the entire region. We're still not really seeing any hot spots, but a lot of those more moist temperatures off to the east. 65 Sterling City, 68 San Angelo, 70 in Junction, only a couple degrees across the entire area. Colder air definitely sinking in from the north, and we get a good idea of those colder temperatures, seeing about a 30-degree difference between the Great Plains and then off to the south in New Orleans, where they're actually dealing with a big problem themselves, seeing a lot of those tornadoes push through. Now, last week we were talking and joking about snow tornadoes, but it is a very cold, dry line setup. In fact, we're only halfway through El Nino season, seeing still those drier temperatures. Now, what does it mean to see a more wet winter? Well, we are seeing it right now. In fact, we're holding on to a lot more moisture than we should. In fact, severe weather outlook really targeting parts of East Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and it's going to keep making its way east. This storm is pretty big, pretty powerful, seeing some high-level winds. And now we get a good idea of this long wave trough, and behind it, a lot of cold air coming down from the north. This storm going to continue to wrap in this anticyclonic rotation and continue to pulverize parts of the east coast before we see a lot of cold air make its way in from the north, really cooling things off and causing a lot of stable air. Now, when we talk about high pressure, we do talk about this side of it being unstable, or at least the northwesterly side. Now, the southeasterly side, this portion that's going to make its way over us, that's the stable side where a lot of that cold air pushes down across us. Now, that's going to level us out in some pretty comfortable temperatures around the 60s and 70s. Now, this is the storm we're talking about. Look how large this thing is. This is the high pressure we're talking about, the unstable side of the high. This other side, that's the stable side. And between the two interactions, we're seeing a massive explosion of moisture across the entire region. There's that line cloud we were talking about, but then we look off to the east of Louisiana. That's flash flooding, that's tornadoes, that's severe weather. This storm is moving pretty fast, and right behind it, we're seeing those strong northerly winds push out from the north. That's what's cooling things off around the entire region, setting us up for some morning fog. Now, as we continue to fast forward, this will be that fog we're talking about in the morning. Then it quickly pushes out, and that's all we're going to see is big, beautiful, clear skies all the way up until Thanksgiving. Look at that, nothing but a cloud. But off towards the west, making its way down from New Mexico by about Thursday, Friday. Around that Thanksgiving travel, post-Thanksgiving travel, we can see an opportunity for some inclement weather to move in. But tonight, going down into those 40s. Again, clear skies really allowing us to cool off. Then tomorrow, a lot of that cold wind really struggling to get us up into those 60s, where we're going to be dealing with a much cooler day. But that's going to be it. And we're going to be seeing clear skies, a little bit of warmer temperatures with those lows hanging down around near freezing, but just a little bit warmer. Nothing to be too concerned about under those clear skies. As we continue to make our way towards that weekend, we see a little bit of drop in those temperatures as we continue to see cold fronts push through, pushing us down from those 60s to those 50s, down into those 40s, while those lows hover around those upper 30s. Stay tuned with more up at the break. You're watching KSAN News at 5.